Undertale is by far my favorite game of all time, and I think I know it pretty well. But the best way to test this is to remake the entire game from memory. Oh, but Undertale's a long game and very detailed. Yeah, I know that. So I'm gonna make my own short story segment in the same style, whilst trying to keep it as accurate as possible. And this, did not go well. So before I start creating this game, I need to decide what game engine to use. Now, Undertale is a 2D game, and you probably know that I use Unreal Engine primarily. But Unreal Engine doesn't do 2D. Luckily, however, Undertale was originally made in Gamemaker, which I have quite a bit of experience with, and I already have it installed. So I created a fresh project and got straight to work. So the first thing I needed to get down was the player. So I created 4 sprites, one for each direction you would face. And they don't look too bad, I guess. Next, I made it so the player could walk around an empty room and also collide with walls around it. Did you hear that? I said empty room. So that means it's time for... So there are a lot of areas in Undertale, but I think the ruins will be the easiest to replicate from memory, as I've probably seen them the most, and they're the most basic. So, how am I going to make this? Well, basically, in GameMaker, rooms are made using what's called a tile set. For example, here is the sheet for the actual ruins in Undertale. So, completely from memory, I made my own tile set, and it ended up like this. I mean, it's not terrible. I think the colours are pretty off, but never mind. By the way, if you're wondering, this is me talking after I've made the whole thing. And what I did here was genuinely from memory. So now that I have the tile set, I need to make a few rooms with them that line up with the actual game. So in my head, I decided on these 3 rooms. Now, I know these don't normally go in order, but they're the ones with the least different tiles, and I think I can replicate them the most accurately. So this room ended up like this after I'd done it myself. And I've got to say, I'm actually surprised at some of the accuracy, especially on the leaf piles. The next one turned out like this, which, I mean, it's a bit wonky, and it's fine. But then the last one, I think the shape's fine. The path is not. Anyways, now we have rooms that our player can walk around, and obviously can go into the next... Where have they gone? So after a bit of fiddly coding, I managed to get it so you sort of like teleport from room to room. And if you know much about Undertale, you know there's a bit of a fade as you go through each room. So that's what I needed to work on. I eventually got it down to this, which when we compare it to the actual game, is about as close as it's gonna get. And now that that's done, we can finally move on to... Now there's a lot of characters in the ruins, but I don't think any of them are as iconic as one we find a bit later in the game. Sans. So, it was time to make his sprite. Now, this is easy. He's short, he's round, he's a skeleton, he's really, really simple. Something's off. I can't put my finger on it, though. Now he's in the room, but we can't really do anything with him. He's there. Watching. So now we need to make the... So first I made this box that will stretch across the screen using what's called 9 slicing, which pretty much means that the border won't stretch, but the center will. I then added this font, which I know I already had pre-installed, but I'm not making a whole font. That's insane. But now we can go and speak to Sans.
Who doesn't like monster trucks? What a f***ing goon!
But there's a few things missing. Now there's always been something very recognizable about the way Sans talks. Yeah, I need to make a homemade version of that. So first I recorded this snippet. Yeah, say what you want. And then imported it into the game. And now Sans has a voice. But I still need to make his little portrait that appears in the text box. Which means I have to make more art. And it's gonna be terrible. So I made this... So I made this sprite. And I also made one without the eyes for like the danger feeling. And there you go. Sans can fully express emotion. I mean, it really messed up the dialogue box, but I guess I'm just too lazy to fix it. Now, the very last thing we need is... So in MuseScore, I made as close as what I could imagine to what the background music in the ruins is. And I'm not even gonna lie. I did good. It sounds extremely similar at points. I mean, take a listen. So yep, bam, slap that in the game, and we're done. So here's a proper playthrough. Alright, we load in, and we got a multitude of rooms to explore. Honestly, I think the tile set saved me though. Like, genuinely. It made everything so much easier. And now we can go and talk to Sans too. Oh? Are there any wiser words? Oh. Now, there's just one thing. What's up here? Oh.